Dear viewers, welcome to another video in the series of descriptive statistics in data analysis with the help of Microsoft Excel. In some of my previous videos, I have explained about the concept of correlation, how correlation coefficient can be calculated, and how correlation coefficient can be calculated using a Excel function called CORREL. In today's video, we will understand how correlation coefficient can be calculated using the Excel function. At the same time, how correlation coefficient can be displayed using the data analysis plugin of Microsoft Excel. Let's get into the video. As I was explaining in the introduction, one of the functions that we already know to establish Karl Pearson correlation coefficient is equal to CORREL, and then we open bracket, we select our first array of data, then we put a comma, and then we select our second array of data, and we close the brackets and we hit enter. We get correlation coefficient. So this was explained in my previous videos as well, so this is not something new that we are going to discuss. However, when you are dealing with multiple regression, so here you have a single X which is tenure of data, and we expect this tenure of data will impact the amount of dollar sold per day. So that is my response parameter. Whereas in my second example, I have multiple regression scenario. That is, I have my response parameter called thickness, and I feel this thickness is getting impacted by film density, tensile strength, mold temperature, dwell time, air pressure, and vacuum pressure. So these are the different X's, and I think these X's might correlate with my Y metric. So now can I go ahead and calculate using correlation coefficient individually for each one of this with X, with Y, and then to check multiple collinearity among X's. So then what I need to do is I will be ending up doing this CORREL, this function, for many number of times. So instead of doing all that, what we can do is we can click on data. We have already added a plugin called data analysis. So now once we have this data analysis plugin, I can click on this, and there's an option for me to display correlation. So I select this option, display correlation, and then I click OK. When I click OK, the first thing that I need to select is I need to select my data. And as you see here, there is a tab where I can put a tick mark, and this tick mark will tell me what is the data. That means the column header is the first cell in each of the data that I am going to select. So I can put a tick mark. So I put a tick mark, and then I select this data range where I want to display the correlation coefficient. So once I select this, now I need to come and select my output range. So where my data has to be displayed. So I think my data can get displayed. So let me move this. My data can get displayed here in M10. So I select M10, right? And now I click on OK. So here I have options to go for a new workbook. I can also go for a new worksheet. So a new sheet within this particular file, or a completely new workbook. So that is something that I can be selecting, but I want it in this particular sheet itself. So I say OK. And when I say OK, you get the correlation coefficient. And how you need to understand thickness versus thickness. Actually, if you see, this first option is thickness versus thickness. Anyway, we are not going to see correlation for thickness versus thickness. However, if you say thickness versus film density, thickness versus tensile strength, thickness versus mold temperature, thickness versus dwell time, thickness versus air pressure, thickness versus vacuum pressure. So this is the correlation. And if you say thickness as your Y metric, and these are all your X metrics, you got Y versus X. However, if you want to do X versus X, film density versus tensile strength, are these X's correlating among themselves? Yes, they have a very strong correlation among themselves. Is there any other place where you see multicollinearity, strong correlation among themselves? Yes, vacuum pressure with air pressure is having multicollinearity or strong correlation among themselves. And there are few borderline scenarios, not up to 0.8 but 0.73 kind of borderline, right? And this is also kind of borderline. So what you can do this correlation for all your multicollinear X's in a single table, and you can get this value done in your Excel. So this is the option that is available in Excel plugin. So we have seen how this is being done in Excel plugin. I'll post another video on how covariance can be done like this in a Excel data analysis plugin. I hope this video will be useful. For more videos on how to use data analysis package in Excel, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.